All Things TechIE Podcast is a product of the Extreme Media Network. For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, please visit www.extrememedia.ie. That's XTREME media.ie.
It's Justin Dawson. It's the All Things TechIE Podcast. Hello. Now, I have to say to all our listeners who's listening in on an audio podcast, the next couple of episodes of our podcast will make more sense if you go to our YouTube page, like and subscribe on our YouTube page, and also visit our website, www.allthingstech.ie, because we are into ISE 23, Integrated Systems Europe 2023 in Barcelona in a week's time. And a lot of the upcoming podcasts and videos are going to make a lot more sense if you actually see them in a visual context. I will be trying to explain it in an audio context to our audio listeners, but as this is an AV podcast and we're going to Integrated Systems Europe, one of the biggest audiovisual conferences in the world that happens annually, you're better off watching the video. So go to the YouTube channel. So because I won't be able to get to every booth, there's over 1,000 booths at ISE this year in 2023, I had to do some pre-recorded shows and pre-ISE shows. So you're going to have a series of shows over the next week. I hope you like them. Do subscribe on YouTube. Do give your comments at www.allthingstech.ie. And if you bump into me at ISE 23, I will be doing podcasts in the Influencers Lounge and a couple of other places. And I'm on stage on Thursday at 12 o'clock with Jane Ross from Zoom. So do come along and listen to that discussion. But if you do bump into me, I do have some swag. I am giving away some swag. So do say hello. I hopefully will have some swag to give you. But enjoy the next couple of shows and hope to see you at ISE 2023. It's the All Things TechIE Podcast. We're doing a pre-ISE because there's so many stalls. There's over 1,000 stalls at Integrated Systems Europe this year. In the Fair in Barcelona, we're going to be here like literally 8 days away now, and the countdown is on. But great to be joined by Anna Kozel. She is the Vice President of Marketing at VuWall. VuWall is a global technology leader in video wall control systems and unified visualization solutions, and pioneered a new and disruptive, as they call it, approach to video wall management in AV over IP environments, bridging throughout organizations. Anna, thank you so much for joining us on the All Things TechIE Podcast. Tell us a bit more about VuWall and what it's all about.
So at VuWall, we are an organization that developed technology to easily route and distribute and visualize information on video walls and displays across organizations, whether it's in a single control room or in multiple control rooms, or displays video walls throughout organizations, which could also be in experience centers and corporate workspaces. And so we provide the brains, I would say, behind the displays in order to easily route all your sources to your displays and easily visualize that information.
Like, I remember when I first entered the realms of audiovisual, I worked with a financial firm in Dublin City, and we had a video wall, and it was literally running off one computer at the time, and trying to stretch the picture and get it to the right image contrast ratio on screen. It just, and then the old days, now I'm going back 15 to 18 years now, the old LEDs, they would like start popping out of the wall nearly with the heat of this. And it cost a lot of money to keep this thing up and running. Video walls have absolutely progressed and keep on progressing. I think my first ISE was when I experienced Oblong, and it was like Minority Report. You can move things across. I can remember just like everyone thronging to that Oblong at this time. And then now, I say 5 years later, there's so much that has happened with video walls that it's nearly becoming a commodity when you go to the likes of Integrated Systems Europe, because so many companies are doing it. But what puts you out from the crowd? What I ask.
So what we do differently that others don't do is the ease of use, really. So using a VuWall platform, it's called the TRx Video Management Platform, is our core technology. It's easy drag and drop with your mouse from your source to your destination. And then once you select your video wall, what you're saying that was so difficult to change your views and your presets and your layouts is as easy as dragging the window bigger, smaller, and moving it with your mouse. It's like using PowerPoint. It's really, really that easy. But what the system does that others don't do is it's not just the video wall management portion, but also the routing. So you have, you're able to take any source. It's a very interoperable system, which is also quite unique. So we work with many third-party technologies, and you're able to route virtually any source to any display. And so you literally drag and drop your sources onto that wall and these sources onto that wall. And it's just, it's really the easiest way, both for integrators who are setting up deployments, but also for end users that want to change things and reconfigure things. Our system also includes a control panel designer. So in a situation where you have operators that just want to change a preset or change the layout because it's a different shift or a different time of the day or whatever the need, they can just press a button. And designing these control panels doesn't require any programming. Again, it's like a PowerPoint. You just create your button, select your color, and then apply a command to that button. And it's really easy. It can be customized in a million different ways to the company's brand and the look that they want to have. But the whole idea was interoperability and ease of use. And this is where we really pride ourselves, because nobody does it quite like we do. And it just makes for much faster deployments, a lot less risk in the field, and a lot faster operations for the end user to be able to get the job done. And in the environments that we work in, the customers that we have are often in mission critical environments where they need to respond really quickly. So improving operational efficiency and decreasing those response times is really our focus. And with a system that's just press a button, drag this here, open it up, see what you need to see when you need to see it, that's really what we focus on in our development.
You sort of answered one of my next questions, like where are people using this? I'm guessing it's the likes of traffic management, security management, airports.
Exactly. Yeah, so air traffic control, definitely we do a lot of process control, network operations centers, emergency operations centers. We recently did the G7, which
Wow.
transformed it. Yeah, that was in Germany, transformed the hockey arena into a police command center in a matter of days, and was used for a matter of days, right? And then transformed back. So it has to be something that's quick to deploy, but also has to be something that's really reliable for these type of mission critical 24/7 operations. So I would say that, and like you said, more because it's become a lot more affordable, the display prices have gone down a lot. We're seeing a lot more of these smaller command and control centers using video walls that were not able to afford them before. We have a client, for example, in France, Salade de Fruits, and their processing, they do logistics, and so they need to move fresh produce around the country quickly, and as you can imagine, it's a very timely thing, right? So the faster you get it on the shelves, the fresher it is. And so they've recently installed a couple of video walls, and it's drastically increased their productivity. And so we're finding a lot of these smaller command and control centers are able to afford these larger video walls that were not affordable just a few years ago.
Now, I was looking at some of the hardware. Of course, it is what's behind the screen that is controlling this massive video wall. How many sources, like if you get just one box, how many sources could you put into the wall? You have the encoders and decoders as well.
You can have multiple sources. It's a matter of processing what your video wall can handle. So our what you need right now, we have a pack video wall processing node that we launched last year. We showed it for the first time at ISE last year, and that can power up to 4 displays. And you can have multiple inputs for each of those. You can have 1 or 4 displays. And so if you want to grow your video wall past those 4 displays, all you need to do is add 1 more of these boxes, and they're little boxes, and they're makes it very, very scalable. So the traditional video wall processing needed these much larger processors, and depending on how many sources you had in displays, you had to have input and output cards. But now it's called distributed video wall technology. You can have multiple of these little boxes. There's a lot less risk because if one goes down, you only have a portion of the wall go down, and it makes your system very scalable. And then you can stitch them all together and use your video wall as a single logical surface and drag and drop your sources throughout the entire video wall. So it makes it very, very, very scalable. And depending on how many of these boxes you have, the number of sources is virtually unlimited. It's how much your wall can support.
I'm actually looking at like the destinations and the nodes. Like I say for the software and using the TRx software, it's, as you say, as simple as drag and drop. I want that in the top left-hand corner. I have social media. I have a map
Absolutely.
of the world on one side and social media feeds going on the other.
Yeah, you can have live RSS feeds. You can have a bunch of IP based cameras. You can have computer sources. You can have an emergency messaging scroll. You can have really anything that you need. What's important is to understand that a lot of these control rooms use other systems also for their monitoring. For example, a VMS system like a Genetec or a Milestone that monitors hundreds or thousands of IP cameras. So what we provide is integration with those systems. For example, we have plug-in with Milestone, with Genetec, and that way you can use you can use the TRx to do all of that without having to switch applications. And so the Genetec system, for example, can only process their IP cameras, but they can't have other sources like web pages and RSS feeds. So with TRx, you can have their cameras and you can add on all these other different type of sources so that you can use a single platform for all of your visualization needs, everything that the operators might need to see on the video.
So for the word, it's your operating system. It's using different plugins to use the like social media. Does it work well with, if you're doing, I'm guessing it does, because you're talking about, you did some summits lately for environmental and government. So bring in the likes of Zoom or Teams or any video conferencing, there's no issue. Any
application really. So we also sell an application server. So if you have a lot of these different applications, in order not to task your video wall processor too much and leave it its processing power to do its job, you add, if you have a lot of other external applications, you would add a little application server, which is about the same size as the video wall node, depending on how many you have, to support that, so that it doesn't take away any processing power from the video wall processor itself. But yes, 100%, absolutely. The system is really agnostic to the application, to the type of content. It's really just able to process all of that in order to see whatever it is you need to see on the wall.
I'm just looking at your press release for ISE 2023, and you're going to be showing this features with VuWall pack appliance to 3x2 Samsung LED video walls. How big is your wall? How big is your booth going to be at ISE?
So our booth is an 8x9 meter booth.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in, you'll see a coffee bar with a beer tap this year. Pretty nice addition.
Yeah, nice addition.
Do I need to go on, or is
no?
everybody
Like I'm just thinking, like as a reporter going over to ISE, I'm getting worried about the amount of people that's telling me that they have a beer tap at their booths.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice addition that they've offered from their catering service at ISE this year is the beer tap. So we'll have a 3x2 video wall. Every display is a 55-inch display. So off the top of my head, I can't tell you what size that is, but it's basically six of those, 55-inch displays stitched together for a single video wall. Samsung has offered to provide those for us. So those aren't just regular TVs, right? Those are thin bezel video wall displays. And on the other wall, Samsung has also provided us what they call the wall. So it's an LED display. So we'll have the LCDs and the LEDs. Of course, LEDs are becoming more and more popular in control rooms now, but in a booth, you're a little bit closer. So we try to keep that quality as high as possible. And then we're going to also have 2 vertical displays in the booth, also 55 inches, but vertical. And we'll just be using that for signage, but also as part of our demo. So there'll be a lot of screens in the booth, that's for sure. There'll be some nice sitting areas. We have Winstead providing us a really nice control room console as well. So we'll have a professional console in there. So we're pretty excited. It's a full build, and it's the construction starts tomorrow.
Yeah, I've actually seen a couple of different Instagram posts from Integrated Systems Europe where it's just a blank floor, and yeah, I'd say that. When do you fly out?
So we actually have a summit just beforehand, leadership summit. So I'm flying on Thursday. But I will be on the show floor, making sure everything is running smoothly by Sunday afternoon. I'll be there all day Monday, and Tuesday it's showtime.
So that's the main product, the VuWall and your scalability of that. You say in last year in ISE 2022 you had a couple of applications. Do you want to talk about them?
So this year, what we're doing that we haven't done before. So of course, we're showing the pack, which we announced last year. It's been extremely successful. We've already had several deployments with the pack video wall node, and of course, it'll be there again this year. The TRx is our software platform that's constantly in development. Every quarter, we have a new release with a significant amount of features. But this year at ISE, what we're doing is a technology preview of some new KVM control capabilities. And so it's not productized yet. It will be coming in the next months, but we felt it was important to show it at ISE. It is a technology show. So whatever's new, we would like to show it if possible. And our software development team has made this possible. So we're really excited about that. And what that is so IP KVM control, in order for operators to be able to collaborate dynamically in a control room. So normally an operator would have a personal video wall with maybe 2, 3, or 4 monitors in front of him, and he can control certain computers with a single keyboard and mouse on his personal video wall, but isn't necessarily able to control content on the main video wall as well, or move content from his personal video wall onto the main video wall to share with others, or onto the personal video walls of his colleagues that are sitting in the same room. So this is extreme flexibility and collaboration that I don't think has been seen before. It is going to be showing in our booth, and it is a huge enhancement that's going to be added to our TRx functionality later in the year.
Because you hit the nail on the head there. It is as a technician, being able to move from one thing to the next, or very large files with possibly an external hard drive and trying to plug it in to move things, or over cloud, and you're wondering, well, is that file going to be there on time, versus the whole idea of being able to drag
so, I mean, it's not really moving the files, right? It's the visualization. So it's what you can see. So it's really moving it from, yeah, you're right. I mean, moving it from from one destination to another destination really seamlessly with just the move of a mouse, and that's what makes it really pretty extraordinary.
Like I'm definitely going to get over to this booth. This is a pre-show, but we do have a couple of videos. I know you have some videos on your website that I'm going to drop into this podcast episode if our listeners are watching on YouTube and on our channel. But Yeah, I think this is one of these see it to believe it moments that I definitely will have to get by your booth and bring the camera with me and take some shots of this, because I remember, as I say, back at ISE 5 years ago, this type of technology was only coming available where you were able to move it like Minority Report across from one screen to the next. And I guess like it's so important when you go to the likes of traffic management, security, and everything. Now, with a sort of a technical question, you talk about video walls and you're talking about in a booth here at ISE. Is there any restrictions if you had a couple of video walls in separate rooms? Could you, with the right equipment, be able to move it from one to the next?
Absolutely. The collaboration is really designed for that. So in your TRx user interface, you have all the video walls that you are able to control. And those video walls can be controlled from the next room. And not just video walls, it could just be a single display in the director's office, for example. From different rooms, you have a setup where you can have different floors, and you have a setup where you can have different buildings. So for example, during COVID, we had to set up our demos for our application engineers to be able to do demos remotely. And we were able to control the video wall that was in our office here in Montreal, as well as the one in our office in Germany. And we were able to do live demos on those video walls. So what our setup is that we have cameras facing those video walls. And while we do the changes during the demo on the TRx user interface, the viewer can also see what's happening on the actual video wall with the cameras. And yes, we can control video walls remotely in multiple rooms at a time.
Wow, I love that. And no issues with lag, no issues with any bit of
it all depends on the kind of network you have.
Yeah,
of course. We do have solutions also. So the larger Samsung display that's going to be in our room is going to be an SDVoE display. Yes, so using SDVoE technology over 10G networks. So there's zero latency essentially on those networks if you have a 10 gig network. If you're working on a 1 gig network, of course, it all depends on your capacity, but very, very little lag, I would say, not particularly noticeable unless you're in the same room.
I'm going to throw this out to our listeners. I just think we're not too far away from replacing the old-fashioned projector screens in big rooms, because it gives so much choice. You can't have that many sources with a projector screen versus being able to do the likes of these video walls. And of course, TVs are becoming cheaper and cheaper. And look at I'm going to actually take a screenshot and put it in our video as well, looking at the workflow of what goes in with the sources. And you're talking about a managed network switch, a TRx server, the software. Talk to me about the control view touch panel. You can have a touch panel in the room to be able to move pieces?
Yes, of course. So we have our own touch panels. We have a 10, 12, and 15-inch models, but the touch panels are completely agnostic. What that means is that you can essentially use any HTML-based device to create and use those control panels. So you can use an iPad, you can use your browser, you can use any HTML-based device to be able to create these touch panels. The real power of it is the control panel designer in TRx. So with TRx, you get this piece of software that allows you to create these panels, and you can run them from anywhere. You can run them from your computer, you can run them from any device. So the control view is it's our branded touch panel. And the idea is that you either have one at the entrance of a room on the wall where you can change things, or you also typically in a control room, just about every operator has one on his desk. And you can do everything from changing your layouts and your presets, which is part of the video wall management, but you can also program it to turn the monitors on and off, and turn the lights on and off, and turn your blinds down, and you can pretty much assign any command that you would like to these panels.
Because I think that's a huge tool. If you had a a 16 screen video wall, and you're able to go, okay, I want to have social media on. I don't want it on the right. I want it on the left. You can change it through the actual control view touch panel as well.
Well, the touch panel, the idea is that through the TRx, you create specific layouts. Layout number 1, layout number 2, layout, evening layout, Monday layout, Wednesday layout, whatever those layouts are, and you save them. And then the control panel can recall them Monday, Tuesday, templates. 10 a.m. And whatever that layout is, depending on, what sources on the left, on the right, and whatever sources that you have, you save them so that whoever is using that touch panel just has to press a button and he's going to get.
It's the ease for the end user. Like
exactly.
you're nearly taking away taking away the AV professionals and the technicians. We just have to install the ends of things. Okay, so for people that's visiting ISE, of course, the beer is going to be very enticing to come to your booth and see these products. But what room are you in? Where can we find you at ISE?
So we moved into Hall 5 this year. We felt it was more appropriate. We were in Hall 2 last year, which was all the big display manufacturers, and we've moved into Hall 5 this year. So we're down the main aisle, just on the left. You can't miss us. It's 5E370. So Hall 5, and down the main aisle. And we're going to have a couple of our big demos. We're going to have a nice welcome bar. We're going to have some espresso. So we invite folks to come and visit with us. For more information on ISE or to set up a meeting, you can visit VuWall.com/ISE. And there you can find some information about how to meet with us if you want to book a specific time for a demo. And for those who can't make it to the show, you can book a remote demo, which we do really well at VuWall.com/demo.
And I must mention that we'll have a video as well, because I'm looking forward to actually seeing VuWall at ISE. This sounds like great fun. I just want to play with this. The great thing is, when you have a media pass, you get in early, so I could get in before all the crowds. And I look forward to meeting yourself, Anna, and playing with a bit of this and getting some video. Anna, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the All Things TechIE podcast. That's a talk about VuWall. We will get across to the booth at ISE. And are you? I know it's a long week, and so are you staying for a couple of days after in Barcelona, or you?
No, I did that last year, but since I'm going early and I do have a family here in Montreal, I'm going to have to make my way back. So I'll be flying back the day after the show. But I did do some very nice sightseeing last May, which was nice because the weather was also warmer. I think it might be a little chilly this year.
I know, like last year I was like, do I go, don't I go, because COVID. And when I seen all the photos in May and everyone drinking at after parties,
you missed out.
Oh, definitely missed out. That FOMO was big at the time. Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Our thanks to Anna Kozel from VuWall, and look forward to actually seeing VuWall in action at ISE 2023. Don't forget, if you are visiting ISE 2023, do stop by the Influencers Lounge. I will be doing a couple of podcasts. I'll be walking around the booths. I will have some swag to give away if you bump into me. Please do say hello. And unfortunately, I won't be able to get around to every booth to record, but we're doing a couple of these pre-ISE recordings, and it's best if you're listening on audio, or if you've listened to the past episode as an audio podcast, do check us out on YouTube as well. All the details on our website, www.allthingstech.ie. This has been another episode of the All Things TechIE podcast. I'm Justin Dawson, looking forward to seeing you in Barcelona, and take care. Goodbye.
All Things TechIE Podcast. Subscribe, like, and share.